So in the last video, we created and got the values from the input fields and saved them inside a variable, and we checked to see if an email or a user with the email that another user is inputting, if it already exists in the database, using the MySQLi_query, which takes into parameters the connection and the query itself, using the condition where email in the database is equal to the email from the input field. Then we use another method called MySQLi_norms_rows, which loops and counts the rows that has similar emails and returns the value. It usually returns an integer. Now, what we want to do now is we want to check if the input fields are not empty. Then we should perform some operations. So to check if the input fields are not empty, we use a PHP method called empty. So we say if it's not empty, and it takes in the value, we pass in first name. That means if the first name is not empty and the last name is not empty, and the email is not empty, as well as the password. But in this case, it's going to be pass_word, pass_word, because that is what gets the value from the input field. So if they are not empty, then we need to perform some operations. Then another check that we need to do, this first check that we did is to see that to make sure that the input fields are not empty. Here we can just use an else statement here. Then we'll put in the codes in later. So we just check that the input fields are not empty. That is the first condition. Then the next condition now we're going to add is if this count returns a value greater than 0, then it should display a message to the user that the email the user is trying to register with already exists. So we say if count is greater than 0, that means if the value already exists, if the email already exists in the database, then it should throw an error or a message to the user telling the user that that email already exists. So we do that by instead of just us echoing it, we're going to store it inside a div that will call it in our signup.php file. So we create a variable and we can call it error1 if we want. Now here what we're going to do is we're going to be making use of the bootstrap alert. The bootstrap alert, if we go to our page, then we go down to W3 schools. Under W3 schools, we click on learn bootstrap and we search for the bootstrap alerts. So if we go down here, we can after the bootstrap we can see the bootstrap alerts. Here we see that there are different kinds of bootstrap alerts. To alert a success message, we use this, the success. For info, warning, danger. Now, so to use the bootstrap alert, what we need to do is we can just copy this. We can copy this, go to our page, then we paste it in there. But pasting it, we need to put it inside double quotes. We paste it inside it. Close. If you notice something, you'll see that some of the values are grayed out. They're not showing as the others. The reason is because we are having double quotes inside of double quotes. The outer quotes are double and also the ones inside are double. So what we need to do is we need to change the inner quotes to single quotes. All the inner quotes to single quotes, leaving just the outer quotes as double quotes. So then also we do the same for this. For the dismiss, also for the area. Now we have this. This is just the best way to write it. Then the next thing we need to do, we need to include the message inside of it. And the message we are going to use is, we'll say to the user with email already exists. So, but we are not going to be using the bootstrap success. We want to display it as a danger or an error message. So we use alert danger. So the alert is going to appear in red as opposed to the success which appears in green. So it's going to show the user that there's an error and it's going to appear in red. So if count is greater than 0, that is if an email already exists, then it should alert this message using this variable, and we are using the bootstrap alert. Else, if it does not exist, we are going to write some codes in here that we use in inserting the data into the database, and we'll do that in the next video.